So we finally go to the men's room. Nobody's in there. Good news, right? No. I pull open the toilet seat, and what do I see? Just me and the Albanian guys. No need to be white supremacist. I got along with the black guys in prison. If there was a problem, you know, it's a different story. But in general, I avoided the race BS. There was one guy, I think I told you guys the story. There was one guy who came up to me who was like, kind of on that time, as they say. And he was like, listen, I don't care what they say. When your hits the fan, there's only one thing they look at, brother, and that's color. If you're not with them, then they ain't gonna protect you. It's either white, brown, or black, and that's it, and that's real. And I'm like, okay, got you. Listen, this jail isn't that serious, but good luck with that. Like, so you with us, right? And I was like, yeah. My entire room is black dudes. We're tight as hell. It was tough, ES, because you don't want to start beef with people, but you also don't want to, you know, go too ham. And that's a situation where I could say, listen, I'm Albanian. I'm kind of with the Albanians. So, you know, oh, do you know this guy? I'll name the head guy. And, you know, he's the guy, you got to talk to him. I can't really, you know, I can't make, you know, he would get upset. And some of these guys are really, really tough. And as soon as you say their name, they're like, okay. But a lot of these guys, what they're doing is they're trying to crash out. Like, if you don't like the jail you're in, the fastest way out is to crash out. Just stab somebody. They'll send you somewhere else. You know, it keeps things interesting. There were Jewish people in jail. You'd be fine. You'd be shocked. There are plenty of Jewish people in jail. Oh, I think you might have to toughen up a little bit, but there were a lot of, not a lot of Jews in prison, but there were Jews in prison. Some Orthodox, some not. And, you know, nothing too bad will happen to you as long as you sort of, you know, keep to yourself, don't start any fights. Yeah, mostly scamming. Some kind of scam, yeah. Financial scammery. Sometimes things like smuggling. A lot of people do convert to Islam. I think the Islam thing is kind of a protection mechanism. If your paperwork isn't any good, you might ride with the Muslims just to have protection. Then there are things like, look, people are in jail. They're depressed. You know, religion might give them some. There are plenty of people who are Catholic in jail too. They get some ability to. If your paper's not good, generally it's either that or you're a rat, which could be as bad or worse. There were occasionally a nerdy Indian, like almost none. Hell yeah, I played dice in prison. No, I don't miss anything about prison, other than being able to read all day. Okay, did the women CEOs have sex with the male inmates? Very rarely, but it had been known to happen. Did I have pen pals? Sure. They don't give you your mail right away. It's a couple of days. The weirdest mail I got was an ex-girlfriend's boyfriend. And he emailed me on some please don't f my girl type thing. Where he was like, look, I know you used to be with my girl, and I saw that she Googled how to write Shkreli in prison. And he was like, listen, I really like her. It was so cringe. Please just leave me. Let me have this relationship. You could have any girl. Let me keep this girl. I was like, okay. Yeah, it was a crazy. Listen, I mean, did I get a couple laughs at it? Yes, but honestly, they had a kid together too. I'm just sitting there like, I gotta check that thing, man. Maybe, I don't even know if he was talking about saving up to buy her an engagement ring or something. I don't even remember. Oh, maybe he already paid for it? I don't know, bro. It was bad. I think you have to be, you know, confidence is very important. I'm pretty confident. You know what you like. You know who you are. You know what you want. You know, you just. At the end of the day, every woman and every man, both, are looking at some point to sort of settle down and start a family, and that's not something you appreciate right away when you're in your 20s. But the reality is, people just pick their partners, and everyone's always thinking in the back of their mind, like, who's my long-term partner going to be? And you know, a lot of people say, well, this person's good enough and I'm happy, and you don't have to sift through 600 people to find the person you really like. No conjugals in federal prison, state only, and only 7 states have it. So pretty brutal. I think that's a cruel and unusual punishment. Oh, I used to troll all of the black dudes in prison with Lil Nas X jokes. Yo, these guys were the toughest, like, thugged out guys in the world. And I kind of had too much clout, so I was able to like this. But yeah, anyway, those are the type of dudes in prison. I mean, they're just tough to look tough, you know. There's just badass guys. And I'd see one of them walking by, and you know, I had a rapport with these guys pre-established, right? And I'd be talking to somebody, and they'd be walking by. Jail's like the corridors are kind of tight, so people will walk by you all the time. And I'd be talking to a dude, and I'd be like, oh yeah, you hear the new Lil Nas X? And a guy would be like, what? And another guy walking by, I'd be like, I love Lil Nas X, man. I would do anything to meet him and go backstage, you know what I mean? And these guys would be like, oh, Shkreli's tripping again. But you know, it was funny because Lil Nas X kind of evokes a lot of issues in the black urban community, because he's pretty flamboyant. I'll say that. There's a lot of homophobia. I wouldn't call them booty bandits. What I'd say is, like, there's gay people in prison. Yeah, so there's just gay people in prison, and they form relationships. So there's plenty of gay people. They don't need to. I think at the higher level prisons is a little more common. The penitentiary, even the step below that, which is the mid. I was in the low, which is the step below the mid. But you know, if you have life in prison, you might do that kind of thing. But you know, it's just not happening in the low security. Some of the gangster black guys not really feeling Lil Nas X. You know, because the biggest conversation you always hear in prison is who's the GOAT on any subject. It could be, except the subjects I care about, but it could be basketball, which I could pitch in there. Rap, basketball, you name it. So I'd always be like, all right, who's the GOAT? Lil Nas X? I'd be like, Jay-Z, and they just say Jay, by the way. Jay, Nas, Biggie, Lil Nas X, or Tupac? Who do you guys think? Who do you got? Big C, who you got? Man, shut the fuck up. Big C doesn't want to answer. Okay. How about you, Jay? How about you, T? Who do you got? I got Lil Nas X. I got in some tense situations, but I never got into a fight. The jail fights are weird, man. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of schoolyard. It's a lot of blustering. It's like, oh yeah? Yeah, well, I'll f*** you up. I'll kill you, okay?
Order cancelled.
Don't touch me. I said back up.
Order cancelled.
And there's like 85 people there. It's almost like a dance, you know? And I always tell you guys my first, not my first day, but a couple years in, there's a new white guy. And they're like, Shkreli, show this kid the ropes. And 2 guys were starting to get into it like that. And the guy's like, yo, oh my gosh, they're about to fight. I says, they're not fighting. And yeah, I was like, fights never happen here. It's boring as hell. I wish they would fight. And it's more that same, like, don't talk to me, dog. I know what you did in the streets. Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just nonstop. And then 6 hours later, you see the guys like sharing a popcorn in the TV room, hanging out, chilling. There were rap battles in prison. They took that seriously. They didn't. They didn't let me play in reindeer games on that one.
𝗠𝗏𝗃𝗧𝗏.
Because there are guys that really, they're really about it. They didn't want to hear my corny raps. They didn't want to hear Hamilton.
𝗠𝗏𝗃𝗧𝗏.
They know Lin-Miranda Manuel. Wow, they didn't. They had guys in there who were really rappers out there. They had songs on the MP3 system we had. Rat in the Cat in the Hat. Chocolate bars. That's my rhyme. I had a fight with a guy in jail once. Verbal fight. This guy was everyone hated this guy. He had a cane when there was nothing wrong with him, but he liked using the cane. He was such a scammer. He liked using the cane to pretend, you know, like he needs it. So he got to go first. And everybody knew what time it was, but he was still like, so like, you know, everyone was like, anybody disabled, you can come up first. And he's like, gets up, he's like, with the cane. And I had a fight with him. I was like, he's like, oh yeah, something about shape up or something like that. And I go, you mean haircut? And he goes, nah, shape up. And I'm like, haircut. You're cutting the hair, right? The hair's being cut. Is it? Is it not being cut? So you're getting your haircut. All right, you're getting your haircut. It was pretty tense. Shape up, haircut. Well, maybe take that cane and beat your ass. we just had beef. Everyone hated this guy. I was like, shape up. It's a haircut. There's other words for it too. Shape up, line up. There's a line up, edge up. There you go. I learned more about black culture in prison than like any African American studies degree could give me. I learned what a fresh Caesar was. Was it called a fresh Caesar? It may not be called that. Black haircut Caesar. A low Caesar. No, you can have scissors in prison. We got worse than scissors, tell you that. I'm gonna tell you. We got the bone crusher in the tuck. You guys don't even want to hear about that. Yeah, prison's not that dangerous. Prison's actually not that dangerous at all. I mean, one thing is, surrounded with officers. What cut you want, bro? Let me get that sperm cell. I got you, B. Yo, what you want, bro? Yo, you ever eat a panini? Say no more, fam. Look, I'm from New York City. You know, there's a little African American cultural influence here. If you haven't noticed, if you're, you know, you're from, I don't know, where's like the whitest place in the nation? South Dakota. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, but I mean, Ebonics is, you know, for all the jokes you can make about it. I mean, it's pretty normal dialect. I mean, in Albanian and Chinese, their dialects work the same exact way. In Albania, we laugh at the other dialects. Like, can you believe they talk like that? Huh. That's like, yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, I do think there's a crisis in the black community. Kanye talks about it. There's a lot of problems. But, you know, I Martin Shkreli, am probably not going to solve the crisis in the black community. Maybe I'll become president a long time from now. You know? I think so far I'm going to sit back and watch this one. There's some problems even Goodell can't fix. You know, the dream has always been that the black community starts to value, you know, their business leaders and some of the black excellence that actually does exist. There's plenty of it, but most kids in the black community, especially the urban community, they know more about young Jeezy and role models like that instead of Ken Chenault, Ken Frazier, Barack Obama. I mean, you know, they just don't identify with these people because basically they're rich. And the poverty-stricken urban community is a bit of a different situation. Kanye, you know, Kanye is not a bad option there. Problem with Kanye is he's too much of an artist, you know, so he does artist stuff. So it doesn't really make too much sense for him to. I agree, Midnight. That's the sad part to me, is that it's actually white people that benefit from promoting that attitude. Companies like the big traditional media companies, Sony, CBS, those types of companies, they make whether it's music or TV or whatever, they make a lot of money when they make a show like The Wire, but or something a lot less tasteful. But that's what people want to see. I was talking to a friend the other day about *Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness*, which was a great album from, I think, 1996. And I was curious about the producer. It was produced by, Alan Moulder was very famous, but I don't know who this guy is, one name producer, and I never heard of him making any other records. He's a British guy, I guess. Mark Ellis. He did New Order, U2, Nine Inch Nails, Depeche Mode, Sneaker Pimps, 30 Seconds to Mars, Erasure, Nick Cave, PJ Harvey, Sigur Rós, Jesus Mary Chain, The Killers, Interpol. So it's sort of indie, and U2, I guess. So on the sort of famous side of indie, but he did a marvelous job on Melancholy. A lot of autistic people. Have you ever seen this Autistic Love on PBS?
𝗠𝗵𝗘𝗘𝗧.
Where they can't even hug each other.
𝗠𝗫𝗄𝗀𝗀𝗀.
And I'm not like a touchy-feely kind of guy necessarily myself, but yes, Brittany Pefke, I'm glad you know that. I don't know what happened to Brittany. I mean, every time I started or wanted to date Brittany, she had a guy, and she super long-term relationship. She's a big romantic. But yeah, Brittany is so beautiful. But she was also very, I gave her the Descartes challenge of how do you pronounce Descartes? It didn't go well. Yeah, I went out to LA and met her. Super sweet, real romantic. Girl wants to fall in love with one guy, be with one guy for the rest of her life. I think she's Catholic, Christian. Really sweetheart. And I think she's been with 2 or 3 different guys her whole life. And she's been with the same guy now for 10 years or 5 years. I think maybe 5 years. When you get older, you realize you want people to meet people that they are gonna, want to be with. When you're younger, you're sort of I want to be with that person, or, you view it as a competition. But as you get older, you're man, I hope they get something they want, all the women, you're sort of well, I hope they stay single so that, maybe I can get back with them or something. But then, like I said, you realize that, that's really selfish. Yeah, that's pretty big cope, Teddy. I agree. They do and they don't, right? They all they have to do is, they have to exchange.